Hey everyone, and welcome back to Backyard Zoo here, where I try to realize my childhood dream of just moving to the countryside and getting a zoo in my own backyard with all the animals I love the most. Today I built all of this for the spotted hyena, and if you want to learn about the spotted hyena or see how I build this, then please keep watching. Okay, everyone, I've been on a journey today because this was my plan. I actually wanted to build something with a mini forest. It's something we have a lot of in Denmark, where it's just like 20, 30 trees that just a place within a field or next to a farm or something like that. And a lot of these places, a lot of animals lives that don't really live other places, so therefore we keep them. But it just didn't fit with the animals I really wanted to build for right now. I really wanted to build for the main wolf, so I wanted to do that today. So I made this little habitat for them. However, when I put them in, there wasn't enough place because apparently they need a lot of space. So instead, I put this striped hyena in here. And of course, you will see all of the rest of it. This is a double habitat, so on the other side we will make the main wolf. So I just swapped them around because there were more space on the other side. So you will build or build get that video tomorrow, so don't worry about that. They just needed more space, and that was easier to give them on the other side. So that's the only thing here. So yeah, once again, it's the striped hyena I'm building for here. But you will see me build the building and such, and that's simply because what I'm gonna build on the other side of this habitat, you also will see tomorrow. And it's gonna take a lot of time, so I fear how long tomorrow's video are gonna be if I hadn't gotten some part of the habitat done today. So therefore, I hope you're okay with this mixing way I building today. But yeah, I will say though, I noticed the space issue when I popped them in there. So the moment you see the animal in there, then I already swapped them around. So everything I built after that is specifically for the hyena. It was only like the placement on the habitat that I had to change. But here in my backyard, I figure we are at this place now where my parents, because again, I was a child, they would have thought out at this point that this is something that we can make money off. And therefore, I figured it's time to put some money into it. I thought it shouldn't be too expensive, so the building here will be pretty cheap. We will have some stone in here that would be expensive if we couldn't get them, like for other people that really needed to get rid of them, or fake stone, and it would be easier to have fake stone in here. However, the terraforming you can see here wouldn't be that expensive, since I actually know quite a lot of people who have that kind of machinery on hand, and I would be able to control a lot of these machines myself. So therefore, I figured when I was a child, my parents also super quickly could have found people with the same opportunities, and therefore it wouldn't be so expensive as it would be for other people. And I guess you could make some kind of deal again. I'm living on the countryside here in Denmark, and you can get an electrician for a box of beer, or you can get a helping hand with laying tiles on your roof, or babysitting or something like that. You can make that kinds of deals, and I figure here it would be easy to make like yearly tickets for the families of the people who helped out, or something like that. Free candy when they visit, or something like that. And I figure you could make it cheaper than it would be for some other zoos. However, I do not expect it to be cheap. So of course it's more expensive than anything else we have built this far. Again, we also actually building a building where the other buildings would already have been part of the farm. That's also why we do it in concrete, so it will be as cheap as possible, but still very, very strong. And then we would have some reusable wood. We have found other some people who need to get rid of it, or maybe some people or somewhere where it's like used or something like that. So again, we would give it kind of cheap. I don't like the look of it here. You will see it later. It is a little too clean. I would like it to look rougher, but we don't have anything other than Arctic wood that really looks like still like planks, but rough. We don't really have that mix there, and I would really appreciate if you could get something, you can see them here, like these, but just rougher, darker, dirtier, more used. I would love that very much. I also been playing a little around with the tours today. You won't see me setting it up because it were quite boring just to watch, I'm pretty sure. If you want a video on it, let me know. I will make it for you if you want it, but I do believe a lot of you guys would feel like it would be a waste of time. But again, if you want it, I will make it. But then it would be a dedicated video to that. Yeah, you will see in the cinematics them going around here. I also think you can see them throw food into the habitats. That is actually really, really cute to see. Not sure if I got that on tape, but I have seen it anyway. So you will see that later. Anyway, let's talk about this striped hyena. And what shocked me really much about this beautiful hyena is how related it is to cats. I always look kind of at them like dogs, but they are actually closer related to all of the cats. Now, they aren't exactly in the Felidae family. They are not. It's called Hyenidae, this family. And the genus is, of course, Hyena. Not spelled like hyena, but Hyaena, just to make it more difficult for everyone who, like me, aren't that good at spelling. But the suborder is Familia, and that is, of course, our beautiful felines that's both our big and our smaller cats, lions, tigers, ocelot, lynx, caracal, of course, but also the meerkat. So it is kind of this weird mishmash of animals. Yeah, I really wouldn't call them cats anymore at this point. But it is interesting. I think most of you would agree with me that it seems a little more like a dog or a fox. However, the Hyenidae family here includes not only the striped hyena, but also the laughing or spotted hyena, brown hyena, and the aardwolf. Not aardvark, but aardwolf. And if anyone wants to know, the aardwolf is also from Africa. It's a little bit smaller than the hyena, of course, and it lives completely off insects. It only weighs around 7 to 10 kilos, and yeah, it's very cute to look at. It have this more mousy face, but it still have the stripes and the shape kind of like a hyena. And I just checked, we do have a Aardwolf mod on Nexus, so if it gets updated for 1.12, then please remind me to make a video on it because it's quite cute. Anyway, back to this striped hyena. It is the most common of the larger carnivores in Africa. Again, a fact I find quite funny since, again, I never seen one. I don't think any zoos in Denmark have them. However, I also understand why some people think it's not something people want to see, because the hyena aren't famous for looking cute. It is more famous for this kind of grungy look, this kind of bad guy look. So therefore, I understand it may not attract a lot of kids, but I personally think it's beautiful and I would love to see them in real life. And even though they are much more common and there are more of them than the spotted hyena, They aren't that common to see, however, again, the numbers are bigger. And that's because they both are smaller, shyer, and less social than the spotted one. And just before anyone comes from Frontier on the striped hyena, and this actually also a way to tell it apart from the brown and the spotted one, the front legs are longer than the hind legs, which also gives them this stand where it looks like the behind is lower, because it actually is. At the same time, as I said in my introduction video on them, they also are really mean to each other. So to protect themselves around other hyenas, they will pull their tail and their buttocks close, since it is a hard area to defend and an easy area to attack. They live both in Asia and Africa. However, it's most in the northern and the eastern part of Africa, and most of the southern and western part of Asia, but most of the southern part. They also live in a lot of different places. Again, that's the only way you can live in that many, on that big of a aerial or in multiple continents, is by being able to adapt to different biomes. And this, for instance, include the grassland and the savanna, which I think most of us knew, but also wetland, scrubland, and forest, which already there I'm a bit confused. But what I really didn't have an idea of was the anthropogenic and the agricultural biomes, which I imagine could be scary to meet one of them, just walking along your field, checking your crops, and then boom, hyena. And not only do they need to be very versatile when it comes to the biome, but also to the climate zones. Here they both live in the tropical, temperate, and arid. And for people who are confused here, because I know I have a lot of new subscribers the last week, and you are so welcome to be here. I love you are wanting to join this journey, and I hope you are enjoying my videos. But Planet Zoo only use the term biome, and they mix biomes and climate zones that way. Tropical and temperate are climate zones. Grassland is a biome. Not the same. You can find grassland both in tropical and temperate and arid climate zones. Arid, or what we would call a drier biome, this would normally be either grassland, savanna, but desert also. These hotter, drier places. Temperate is changing through the year, and tropical is mostly these places who have a big change, kind of like temperate, but here's the change isn't in temperature, it's more in rain season and dry season, even though the dry is still kind of wet or high humidity. Just to clarify, again, if you knew it, I'm sorry to mansplain, but I just want to make sure we are all on the same place here. And since I just mentioned all of the new subscribers, I just want to mention every time you like my video, every time you watch them, and every time you subscribe, I know it's hard to do more than once, you actually help my videos get out there to more people, and then more people may want to subscribe as well. So if you want to support me that way, it would be awesome. But if you think the things I make here are awful, then you don't have to, of course. And when it comes to the lifestyle of this striped hyena, I actually thought that Frontier messed up, since the striped hyena was earlier thought to be solitary, and they do also always hunt or forage alone. They will always do that alone, and that is when you normally see them. However, if there is resources enough in an area, the mom aren't that busy about getting her pups out. However, the males will need to go. But her female offspring are allowed to stay, not even in the same territory, but in the same den, where she will be able to stay, maybe because she haven't have pups of her own, maybe just because she haven't found her own area yet. However, even if she get pups, and still aren't able to find her own home, but there's still food and everything for everything, she will still be allowed to stay. She will even be able to help taking care of her little sisters and little brothers, but also her nieces and nephews in the den. And I thought Frontier messed up because I saw that it says one male and one female. However, you can have bachelor or bachelorette groups on up to 7 individuals. So congratulations to Frontier to being on point with that. I did expect so much. It's just when I read it, I thought that there was something there. So if you want a little group, but just make sure that it's only one gendered. They normally hunt at night, and they will only come out through during the day if it's either really rainy, cloudy, or stormy. So they clearly do not enjoy the sun. And this really isn't that weird, since a lot of animals in the same areas do not like to move too much around in the sun either. And if you're only moving around to actually, or outside to actually move around and do stuff, then it doesn't make sense to just be out there when you don't have to. And when you are that vulnerable, again, many animals in this area may be out during the day, but they aren't that active, especially in the middle of the day. Hyenas are normally very silent, but they have two kind of situations where they will use noise. The pups will either whine for their mom, or their mom will call the pups to her. Or the other one is if they feel threatened. Then they will screech loudly or growl or even roar. Really, but it needs to be a really serious situation before they do that again. They don't want to drag attention to them at all. However, when they do that, they will also raise all of the fur in their mane, which again, that the mane have this longer fur. So when they do that, they will appear much bigger than they actually are. It's kind of the same you see with a lot of dogs, for instance, that they will raise the hairs of the back when they get mad. I already mentioned that the hyenas hunt. However, they will do that, and they will kill like small animals such as rodents, hares, reptiles, and birds. But that aren't their preferred way to find food. They are actually scavengers, and therefore they will find what the lions or the cheetahs or what everyone else left behind, or animals that die on their own. That also happens, especially during dry seasons. And here they will prefer bigger animals. Again, bigger animals are also more common to actually have leftovers, and that will be wildebeest, zebras, gazelles, and impalas, for instance. And they clean it up, like they eat everything, even the bones, and that's also a really utilized or thing that people living in the area can be really happy about. Again, leaving meat out there for days in the sun isn't that nice for anyone. And I know we already talked about that they can live in groups, but we didn't talk about the fact that they are monogamous, and therefore they will stay together, mom and dad, and the dad will help her make her dance, and even come with food for the mom with the pups are born. However, the mating season is a little more difficult to figure out, and I will read this loud so I don't miss anything up. Mating season vary with the location. In Transcaucasia, they breed from January to February. In the southeast Turkmenia, they breed from October to November. Yeah, you can see with those names why I read it up loud. So there's really aren't like one specific time to breed a year. However, they will have a time of year. It's just not, they just don't all worldwide agree on when that is. However, she will be pregnant for 90 days thereafter. Doesn't mean when they breed, it's just 19 days after that. Then she will give birth to between 1 and 4 cubs, and they will be independent between 2 and 12 months. It says here. Um, and again, what you mean with independence? Independent, like they could survive on their own, or independent, like they are actually independent and able to fully take care of their own. Uh, Again, females may hang around a few years after that to both help getting themselves ready and actually being able to find a good place to move to before they move out, and also they can help out with the next litter of pups either from their mom or their sister. At this point, the biggest issue for the striped hyena is stories, as I see it. Stories about hyenas killing animals, stealing livestock, robbing graves, and take away small children. This, as I read it here, isn't something that we actually know they do, but it's something that there's story about a lot of the places where they live. I'm not sure or if it's because it looks scary or anything like that, but because of this, they are hunted, they are killed, they are poisoned, they are tracked, they are everything. And therefore, their numbers aren't what they could have been. However, because again, they live a few different places, so the numbers is still fairly okay. There are 5 to 14,000 individuals left in the wild. Keep in mind, this is hard to pin down because they live over such a big area and they are very hard to find. Hopefully they will get to at least concerned spot at some point, but that sadly isn't where they are now. Okay, guys, that was all for today. I just want to mention next week, the modders have been really fast to get all of the mods updated. So I think I may be ready to make new mod videos already Monday. And then we go back to the normal schedule, which is mods Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and speedballs and these kind of videos Wednesday and Saturday. Maybe I'll throw in an extra build during the week, but the normal schedule is that. Just want to mention because I know there's a lot of new subscribers here, and welcome to you guys. And welcome back to everyone else, of course. But yeah, for now, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell and notifications so you can know the next time I upload the video. Really hope to see you again at the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys!